Daros, Pollen to come off the pace, but that's the theory. Let's watch the practice, and John Rose is one of those first to break, and that has the early call, with Anchorite bowling along on the outside. Anchorite takes it up now. The pace not hectic. It's Anchorite leading by length. Aljadeer running the rails through on the inside of John Rose. Then on the outside of these races, Baton, followed closely by Pollen and then Jape on the outside of that, and then followed by Alflora. The back marker is Daros, just at the rear of the field, tucked off some way off the pace, but in his previous runs he has come with a steady run. And it's Anchorite leading. Anchorite the leader from Baton in the pale colours, Jape the dark colours to the right of them as we look at them. Then comes Pollen Aljadeer the rail in the white and green, followed by Assessor. On the outside of the pack is Alflora, and so they continue their journey down the back straight. And it's Anchorite, a front runner, showing the way, and the tempo is quickening now. Anchorite stretching the field to Baton in second, then Aljadeer racing third. Pollen and Jape getting a bit close together, followed by Assessor the rail. Then wide is Alflora, followed then by Bonnie Scott in pale colours, with John Rose, one of the back markers, with Daros, who's now starting his run. But they're well past halfway. They start the turn in, just over 3 to go. Anchorite in that black and white quarter cap, Baton on the outside. Anchorite and Baton. Baton now just shades Anchorite. Pollen back in third. Aljadeer the rail on the outside. Jape. Here comes Alflora. Yellow cap on the right. Bonnie Scott with a run too. They're past the 3, and it's Baton in the lead from Pollen. Aljadeer now chased up. Here comes Alflora. Michael Roberts, the yellow and red striped cap on the outside, but it's Pollen now as they come past the 2. Pollen going on from Aljadeer the rail. Then comes Baton with in behind these Alflora. Aljadeer now pulled to the outside. It's the presser to Pollen and as they come inside the final furlong, it's Aljadeer who goes on from Pollen Aljadeer just shades Pollen Pollen digs deep and fights back. Brave performance this by both horses. It's going to be a very close call. Aljadeer and Pollen It's going to be close at the line. It's Pollen who gets there from Aljadeer. Assessor's back into third, and then came Baton in 4. A gap to Bonnie Scott, and behind Bonnie Scott was Jape, and behind Jape was Alflora, who dropped out tamely. Neither John Rose nor Daros, and in fact Anchorite dropped out to be last of all. Neither of the 2 of the last 3 got into the race at all. Pollen has won, a drifter in the market, but this horse that holds entries in both the Eclipse and the Derby has fought back in tremendous style inside the final furlong to win in the colours of Sheikh Mohammed. And this one trained by John Gosden, ridden by Steve Cawthon. It's officially a photo to the outcome of this Thresher Classic trial, and I must say I do like the way this horse fought back to take Aljadeer in the dying strides, with Assessor a long way off the pace through into third. But the judge has called a photo for this son of Diocese in the colours of Sheikh Mohammed. There he is. No doubt on our evidences that he's got to the post in time, beating Aljadeer, Pat Heddery in those green and white colours, trained at Newmarket by Henry Cecil, and they pulled a long way clear of the third horse. But from the inside of the course we see Pollen in those red and white, maroon and white colours. On the outside, Aljadeer. These 2 horses have come a long way clear, and for my money, well, Pollen it's a very brave performance indeed, because when we review the closing stages with John Oaksey and John Frankham, you'll see that Aljadeer and Pat Heddery definitely got to the front, and then it was this son of Diocese out of a mare, Appalachian Honey, who really had to dig deep and came home under Steve Cawthon on what could be a good day for him. Drifted badly in the market, but certainly isn't drifting down up to the line, and it's Pollen and Steve Cawthon nearest to us, Pat Heddery on the far side, and these 2 certainly raised the roof on Whitbread Day. Terrific shout from the crowds.
Well, I agree with Graham. There's absolutely no doubt that Aljadeer did get to the front, but on the other hand, as you'll see now, he had a nasty stop-go passage before he got there. At this moment, he's sort of upsides, he's in 4th place on the rails with the green striped sleeves, as Baton goes to challenge Anchorite, and the eventual winner, Pollen comes on the outside. Now there, you see, Aljadeer had to stop and wait while 2 horses went by him, and now Pat Heddery pulls him out. between Pollen, Count and one on the outside. And look at the ground he makes up now. I admit he gets beaten in the end, but I think he's run a fine race.
He's run a smashing race. Remember that Pollen Count's already had one run under his belt, but just look, because Pat's pulled him out, the horse is quickened up and was able to catch Pollen Count. But then just watch, because there he just goes to jump that shadow. It's a path where people walk across, and I just think he lost his concentration momentarily. There's no doubt that Pat's got him going again, but really he's just been outstayed. He quickened up well to go past Pollen Count, and I expect that if these two meet again, and they're sure to, that this horse will be held up for a late run.